Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Impact. It's been some time now. We are back. We're back with a guest in our studio today. A wonderful guest.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm all right. And how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Nice to see you.
I know what you mean. No, it's good to finally be here. This man
Yes.
has been trying to get me in studio for the longest of time.
Yeah. It's been. You are a hard woman to find.
For everything there's a time and a season.
Okay.
This was the time.
So you're happy you're here?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this place. I love the heat. I know everybody complains about it. I love the heat. It's good. I'm gonna have buttery skin when I live here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh wow. No, nice to see you. So in our studio today we have Dr. Khomotso Mohapi. Dr. Khomotso Mohapi. Did I say it right?
Yes. Khomotso Mohapi,
Khomotso Mohapi.
aka the good doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
The good doc.
Mhm.
All right. So we are going to be doing a series of we're going to give you a testimony first, then we'll do a series of health talks. There are some things we're going to discuss. I think you want to stick around for this one. So we are going to start on first with a testimony, then we'll move on to other discussions on health. So please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. This one is more important. Share with your friends. Make sure that everyone gets to see this. And yeah, I would really appreciate it if you can subscribe. Please do it now. And how are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good.
Okay.
I really am. Yeah. I like this place. It was calming to drive here. I love the views. I love the heat. I love the food. I feel like I'm in the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here.
And it was quite an experience coming here.
Yes. Well, you mean finally getting to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is, yeah.
Yeah.
There were challenges, but I had promised myself that I will not disappoint you.
Okay.
And I prayed hard this week
Okay.
to make sure that I came here.
Okay.
My testimony has never really been recorded. So I remember you made me promise a long time ago
Yeah.
that I would do it with you. And yeah, here it is.
And I never thought we'll do it together.
Yeah.
Finally. And I'm so glad. I'm the first one to record it.
Yeah.
So tell me then, how did you grow up? What type of setup? What type of setup your household was?
Okay, so I was the firstborn child of my parents. My dad, I think he was smitten by my mom and made sure, right? So the thing I love the most about my dad is when he found out my mom was pregnant, immediately my mom was like, give me time to think about it. And then he sent the elders, like, I'm marrying this woman.
Wow.
This was, yeah. So I was there when they got married. So that's what I remember. That's the thing that I love the most. So then I was baptized in the Anglican church because my mom was Anglican.
Oh, okay.
So they were not married yet. But by the time they got married, then we moved to the Lutheran church because my dad was Lutheran. And like all other kids, then I went to live with my father's side of the family, Kohipron. So they're in the northwest between Mabopane
Okay.
and Mututlu. Yeah, so
okay.
you can look it up on the map if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up. I think from 9 months, I grew up with my grandparents and my cousins. It was out in like rural place. So we had this big yard. Everybody was there. All the kids were there, and I was one of the kids whose parents were not there. So I was spoiled rotten. I have a little tendency to like to get things my own way.
Okay, so you had your grandmother raise you in a way.
Well, not really. My grandmother was there as the overseeing woman.
Okay.
But my brothers, my dad's sisters were there. So my aunt, Borakhadi, were the ones, but we had my cousins as well who were older than me. So literally my cousins were the ones who looked after me day to day. My aunts were there. My grandmother was overseeing the whole household because, the grandfathers were working in Johannesburg or whatever. So my job really was to be a child and just play around. I mean, even if I was given chores, if I didn't do them, the other cousins would do it so that nobody got into trouble. Like when my grandfather came home with with a lot of fruits on the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first one to go and pick things. So I was loved, I was cherished. But I think my mom missed me. So at some age, so I started going to creche there. But at some point, she was like, "Can I have my child, my firstborn back, please?" And I moved home. Komtutlung is a small little township outside of Brits.
Okay.
So this was what's called the Northwest now, but it was Buputatswana then. It was a homeland. Yeah, so I grew up there. I went to live with my parents and I wasn't happy. So you go from a house full of people and your cousins and you can run around everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And then now you're in this small township, right? With just your mom and your dad and this little newborn baby, my brother, which I loved him. But I was like, I don't want to be here. My mom said she once caught me praying, "Oh God, please, can I go back to my cousins and I want to go live there?" And she was hurt because this is her firstborn child and she doesn't want to be there.
Wow.
But I got used to it. And so I grew up I got used to being with my parents and my brother, who's 4 years younger than me. Then my sister was born. She's 8 years younger than me. So there's a 4-year gap. Yeah, so I grew up in Tutlung and I went to a primary school there. My mom was my teacher. She put me into line in class.
Wow.
I was the first one to be punished for not washing my containers.
Okay.
Yeah. We called them Zilikazi. She taught us history. We said she was cruel and merciless.
Wow.
But she was a great teacher, great teacher. And then after that, when I was about 11, when I finished my standard 4, which is grade what now? Grade 6? No.
No, grade 5. That's grade 5. Standard 4.
Standard 4?
Yeah, that's grade 5.
Well, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
Because
the last grade.
I'm quite old.
The last grade is grade 7.
In primary school.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Yes, because we started in grade 1, grade 2, then it was standard 1. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I went to school in Mafikeng, the International School of South Africa. Well, back then it was the International School of Buputatswana, when it was still a homeland. I got on a scholarship and I went to study there, mixing with some white people for the first time. But it was fun. It was great. It was a Christian school as well. So there'd always been that Christian background. So at home, we would go to church, Lutheran church, and I loved it. I was going to Sunday school. I loved church. I loved church. I loved the stories. At school, we were taught, to memorize the Bible and all of that. So I grew up in a Christian family, Christian community. It was there all the time. So that was high school. Then 94, I'm 14, right? And South Africa, which was that country. I get we had our own country. Now they're saying we're becoming part of South Africa. And so things were changing. So most of us, we lost our scholarships. The school was too expensive for our parents. My parents are just teachers. So I went to Pretoria High School for Girls for 2 years. Now I was living at home from being in boarding school. Felt like my parents were in my space. Couldn't wait for varsity. So university, then I went to UCT to study medicine, far away from home.
Oh, okay.
Independent. You understand? Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was another journey altogether. Oh, there were issues with financial exclusion, me not studying hard enough. Because, when you think you're smart, you don't study. I was playing football. I was attending BCom classes. I was doing drama and the arts, and I didn't
While you
focus
were
on my
doing
medicine. Yeah. I didn't. Okay, I really actually wanted to study law, but my mom said lawyers are liars. They lie for a living.
Okay.
When I was in standard 9, so I was thinking, I'm gonna have a job where my mom thinks I go to lie every day.
In the morning.
And I really wanted to do law, Paul. I love. She says I'm argumentative. I don't know if that's true. Well, I like a good argument. I like to be able to present my facts. I've calmed down a lot. So I thought, well, if I can't study law because I don't want my mom thinking I'm a liar, professional liar, paid liar, then I thought, what am I going to do? I'm like, I never want to work. So I was like, okay, we'll do medicine. Then I can be in varsity for the longest times. Just have to read a couple of big books. That's all, right? And I didn't mind for the whole studying thing. But I think in my 3rd year, so that's why I was gallivanting and doing all things other than medicine.
Wow.
Until reality hit me in the face that you can be smart, but if you don't study, these things don't go in by osmosis. So that was a reality check. My dad actually said to me, I remember, my mom said, you failed. And I said, I'm a smart one.
Mm.
Said, I didn't smell. I just did not meet the requirements. Oh, she wanted to smack me like I was
Oh
in
yeah.
primary school.
Oh yeah. Oh
And my
yeah.
dad said, leave the child alone. He said, this is a good thing. And I'm looking at him like, you think me not meeting the requirements, aka failing, is a good thing?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you've never failed in your life. And it's better it happens now when I think I was about 19, when you're 19.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this happens to you when you're 40, you won't know how to deal with it. You could just kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense, even when I was 19. And then he said, no use being here. He sent me off to go visit my friends. He said, allow your mom to come down because she knows you failed because you did not apply yourself.
Yeah.
And allow the child to rest. So I've always appreciated my dad for that. He's yeah, that was very nice. I appreciated that. Because I mean, in my head, I was hard on myself. I don't need other people to be hard on me because I know what I've done, right? Yeah. So then anyway, I went back and I'm a bit focused. I'm in my third year. Remember, I'm studying something I don't want to be doing. I just want to be in varsity, and varsity is fun, right?
Okay.
And then, but I go back, and then I remember in third year, we started kind of seeing patients, right? And there was this 25-year-old girl, and she had lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune condition. So it literally just destroys part of your own self, right?
Lupus is like a disease that fights your body.
So your own defense system fights your own body.
Okay.
And I mean, the immune system is quite powerful. It's like the greatest army in the world.
Okay.
Right? So imagine if it turns on itself.
Wow.
Then that's quite something. So she was 25, recently married, for 9 months actually, because they got married because they thought she was pregnant. So, and then she discovered she's not pregnant, and then she's got lupus. Or she lost the baby. I don't remember. And I remember we were around her bed, and I thought, being a doctor is a serious thing. This is serious responsibility. When are you just here because you don't want to study? And that's not going to work, right? In that moment, I literally committed to being a doctor. I thought, if I'm going to do this, then I better take it seriously. So there I am, I'm committed. And the following year, I get excluded because I don't have the finances to pay for it. And that's another story. That's a testimony on its own. And at that time, I'm a lukewarm Christian. I'm part of the Anglican Student Society. I loved it. So I was engaged in the church, and we were dealing with real life issues as students, right? But I don't think I had a personal relationship with Christ and God. I knew God was there. I didn't doubt him, but I had my own issues. Like, you say you're the potter, I'm the clay, you want to destroy me, I'm perfect. What do you want to do? So I didn't like those kind of scriptures. I'm like, no, God, you must be over here and let me be over here.
Okay.
So I'm financially excluded, and long story, God came through for me in the most powerful of ways. Like literally, when I had given up and thought, I'll go study medicine elsewhere. I think it was a test of, do you really want this thing? And this professor from Medunsa, a university I had not chosen because it was too close to home, decides to, he's actually from here, Limpopo. Professor, he's an ENT specialist, Mashudu Chipularo, a wonderful man.
Wow.
A wonderful man. Prof, if you ever watch this, I know I don't say it enough, but you changed the course of my life and my family, and I'm really appreciative for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was my mom's doctor. Second visit, he closes the file and says, your condition is because you're stressed. What's stressing you? My mom doesn't cry. She's like me, or I'm like her. Right? We're strong people. My mom breaks down in this man's office and says, I've got this daughter at varsity. She's done up to 4th year. She wrote the exams. They didn't give her the result for one, medicine, which is a big module. And she's going to have to come home because, we just don't have the finances and the resources to continue at varsity. He's like, what? She's practically a doctor, 4th year. She just needs to do 5th year and 6th year, and that's it. The man calls the dean at UCT.
Okay.
And comes down on him like a ton of trucks to say, how have you not helped this person? I mean, she's already done 4th year. Do you have a result? So they gave, and then they realized medicine did not mark my, the Department of Medicine. They didn't mark my script. So they don't know if I passed or not. They threw it away. But everything else I have passed, right? Because remember now, I'm focused. I'm committed to this thing.
Okay.
So he says to them, it's round about June, varsity supposed to close. He says to them, I'm going to pay for her. he's never met me. I'm going to pay for her. Then you're going to take her for the rest of the year. For the next 6 months, she will study medicine and she'll write the exams. And then she will join 5th year next year because we're not having her sit out the entire year. And yeah, that's what happened. That's how I finished medicine. Then the following year, they gave me NFSAS. Yeah. And then in my 6th year, they gave me that. And there were doctors from Canada who contributed. So for the first time in the whole journey, in my 6th year was the first time that I actually registered on time. And paid my fees like at the beginning of the year.
Oh, wow.
So when I graduated at the end, it was great. And I was ready. I went into the world idealistic, thinking God had seen me through this. So I'm going to be the best doctor that I can ever be. So that's how I grew up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I had not intended to say all of that. But yeah, that's God has always been there for me, even though sometimes, you kind of forget. Yeah.
So you then it means after university, then you went to, by the way, is your internship then?
Yes. So, well,
Is that
it
community
was
service?
1 year internship for us. Now it's 2 years. And then
Okay.
after that, it was community service. And then you're an independent practitioner. You could do whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm idealistic by nature, or so my mom tells me. So I had always thought I would work in the government public space because that's where the doctors are needed.
Okay.
And so I did my internship in Hammanskraal. I always chose the small hospitals because I wanted to have an impact.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a pediatrician. I did peds. Ooh, I didn't like sick kids. I got too emotional. The nurses would kick me out.
Okay.
They're like, we need a calm doctor in here because, sick kids are not nice.
Okay.
So I did my internship there. Then I went to rural Rustenburg in Mokgwase, George Stegman Hospital.
Okay.
I did my community service. That was a learning curve because a lot of us were junior doctors with like 4 or 5 senior doctors. So we were literally running the hospital. So you learn a lot of skills when you do it like that. If you're a medical student, go to the rural hospitals. You create a great impact and you learn very fast on the job.
Okay.
And then then I realized that there were problems with the health system, So that was the first time I quit being a doctor at the end of the year. I was studying law by then. Did I mention that? When I started my internship, I decided, no, man, I still want to be a lawyer. So I'll pay for myself to be a professional liar. So I signed up with UNISA to study law.
While you were working as a doctor now?
Yes, I'm working as a doctor. It wasn't, like I told you, my brain is able to absorb large volumes I enjoyed studying it. So I did my first year during internship. I was in my second year during community service. And then I'm starting to see gaps. I'm doing a lot of medical legal cases. Like, unfortunately, we see a lot of rape cases.
Okay.
So I was dealing with a lot of that.
Mm.
And I thought, there's something wrong with the system with regards to how it handles gender issues, because I was seeing a lot of women in abusive relationships, children being molested. And, doctors are not quite particular about how they fill in the forms. And it can mean a difference between somebody going to jail for what they have done and not. But I was seeing problems. I remember I had this one woman coming in. It was 1 a.m. and she had a broken clavicle, so this bone here, and a broken arm here, because her husband, who was a magistrate, had come home drunk and decided that why she wearing a frilly night dress and beat her with a baseball bat. And I remember I had to send her to another hospital because because of the 2 fractures, I couldn't do it as a junior doctor. And I said to her, but when you're discharged, where are you going to go? Do you have family? And she said, no, I'm an orphan. I just need to make peace and go back to my husband. And when I said, but there's a whole lot of people that came with you, like, she said, no, that's from my husband's side of the family. They want to make sure that I don't lay charges. I can't. He's a magistrate. He knows police. And I remember thinking, so we're going to patch her up in the hospital and send her right back to the home. And I remember thinking, no, there has to be a better way. So I wanted to work for the Department of Health and write policies that deal with women's health and child health care.
Okay.
But they called me and they said, no, we need clinical doctors. So they sent me back to the hospital where I worked as a junior doctor. So I ended up back at Jubilee Hospital in Hammanskraal. So I tried to quit medicine because I thought what we're doing is not working. So I thought the issue was policy, but we actually have great policies in South Africa. It's just the implementation of the whole system. So yeah, I went back and then I worked in the medical wards. I worked in casualty, which I liked. The medical ward, the people were dying. And that's when I started having major issues with God. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do, these people die. What did I study medicine for? And so then I asked to move to labor ward because nobody's sick, right? These are just pregnant women. But there are complications there, and people die and mothers die.
So you mean when you were in
Jubilee Hospital as now an independent practicing doctor.
And then now you were in the ward of casualty, or
so you can choose where you want to be. So I started in casualty. I loved casualty. But I also worked in the medical ward.
Also, the medical ward was where your eyes were like, hey.
Yeah, it's like you get people and they're sick. And I said to the senior doctors, do we actually really cure anybody? It's like we just give them drugs, and then once we start them, they're on drugs for the rest of their life. And they said thing that really troubled my soul. They said, you'll get used to it. And I was like,
wow,
get used to this. Like, we are professional drug dealers, like literally. And that didn't sit well with me.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I just want to zoom in a little bit on that. What do you mean when you were, this is now in the medical ward. And here is where people are sick of various diseases.
Yes.
And then when people are sick of various diseases, when you are there, you're realizing that you are not actually healing them. Oh.
Yeah. So somebody comes in and they have type 2 diabetes, right? So you start them on treatment, and then they come in, they've got complications. Then they've got their toes get affected. Then you send them to the surgical ward, they get amputated. Then they get sent back to the medical ward, and then they go home, and then they come back and their kidneys are not working. And you're putting them on all these drugs, and then they get side effects. Then they're on hypertension medication. Then it's HIV medication. So it's like, we're giving all these drugs, but nobody ever gets cured. It's just like we're introducing drugs into their everyday life. And I'm saying to the doctors, is this what we do? Because now this is, when you're in medical school, you're studying theory. Then you come to practice medicine. Then you start seeing it. And I'm thinking, I thought doctors cure people. So for the first time, I'm realizing we don't cure anybody. We just give them drugs for the rest of their lives. And I didn't like that, because I'm like, but all of them have this side effect profile. And I remember I was 27. So that means it was 2008. I was going to be turning 28. And I was in the medical ward. It was at night. I was on call, and they called me because I needed to go certify somebody who had died. And then I go into the room where they normally keep the people. And then I just see a bed there. I'm like, sister, there's nobody here. They're like, no, she's under the sheet. This girl was so thin that covered with the sheet, it just looked like the bed was made. And then I go and I pull back the sheet, and I see this wasted young woman, right? Like really emaciated. She's like dry. It's just skin on bone. And I look at her file, and she was 27, and I'm looking at her and I'm thinking we're the same age. And I'm seeing that she's nulliparous. That means she's never had kids. And I'm thinking, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's never had kids. She's nulliparous.
Nulliparous.
Yes. So parity has to do with how many kids you've had. Yeah. So we keep that in records, so that we know what we're communicating with other doctors. And I remember looking at her and thinking, she's never breastfed a child. She's never been married. What kind of life did she live that at 27 she's dying, dried out like this from HIV? And obviously she'd had complications and AIDS. And I remember saying to them, I don't want to work. That's when I finally made the decision. I don't want to work in the medical wards, and that's when I started getting issues with God. I'm like, God, if I had Jesus's power, I could just lay hands on her and bring her back. I could heal people, and they wouldn't have to be on drugs. They could be really cured. And I told my mom, I said, I'm not going to church anymore, because people are sick and they're dying, and God is comfortable in heaven. If this is who God is, I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want his eternal life. I don't want to, how am I going to be there with him in eternity? And I'm like, we were here on earth struggling, and you were sitting here comfortable, and then saying, we must then come and live with you for all eternity and say, holy, 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 worthy are you. And she's like, but this is just how things are. I'm like, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I don't like God. He's not nice. He's not good. He's abandoned us. I didn't question his existence. I
Okay.
just questioned his goodness and his love and his mercy. I'm like, he claims to love us, but I don't see evidence of that. I just see people who are sick and who are dying. Yeah. So then I worked in the
So you quit the medical what do you call it?
no. So I had remember.
No, you didn't quit the
I
medical
didn't quit.
field.
I just quit
I mean-
me being in the medical wards.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
say the medical ward.
Yes, I just focused on obstetrics and gynecology.
Oh, so that's when now you went to the sort of
pregnant
the
women.
pregnant women.
Yes.
Is the gynecology side.
Yes, it's the gynecology and obstetrics. side.
Okay, all right.
So the gynecology is the non-pregnant women with their women's health issues, and then the obstetrics. is
So
the pregnant women.
basically, your heart needed to heal people.
Yeah, I wanted people to. I've never been sick. I've never suffered from sickness.
So that's why when you saw the children and then you saw the
Yes, and then the
because-
women. Yes,
so it's
these are
because you
vulnerable.
wanted to really heal someone and see them get better and get back on their feet.
Yes, and go live life. Like I don't want you coming here every second month because you must be on chronic treatment that's going to give you side effects. I don't want none of that. Go and live life. Sickness should not be our lot. That's what I believed. If there's a good God in heaven, then why is he allowing us the misery of have you seen sickness? That's when you see that death is merciful. But I didn't even want to credit God with the mercy of death. It's like, yeah, but you're allowing us to suffer because kumnandi in heaven, and we're here on earth. And I said to my mom, I said, God hates hypocrisy. So he already knows that I don't think he's anything great. So let me not waste my time going to church and waste his time because now I'm going to church for what if I don't want eternal life? Like I'm a very reasonable person.
You're like, I don't want to lie to him. I mean, he
No,
knows that-
he already knows. He can see my heart. I don't think you're good, so I'm not gonna waste your time and my time. I'm gonna live here on earth and do your job that you have abandoned, as best as I can. But I didn't know how, so that's why I went to gynae and obstetrics. And for a while, I felt like I was making a difference until I had a 17-year-old girl pregnant with twins, and she had complications. And there I was. We were trying our best in labor ward, and then I see that we check the fetal heart.
Okay.
I see that one of the babies, the heart stops beating, and so I call the hospital, higher level Garankuwa Hospital, George Mukhari now, and I'm like, look, I need to refer this girl, and they take immediately, and the ambulance comes. When the ambulance comes, they call me when they're on the way there. They said, look, the second baby has died, and I'm thinking, oh, at least if the mom can survive, and they get there and the girl dies. So 3 lives were lost.
Wow.
Like, how do you worship God when such things are happening? And you've done everything that your medical school has taught you to do, and that still happens. It's like, where is God in those moments, right? So yeah, that's I think that was 2018. I remember. It must have been 2018, 2019. By the time I got to 2019, there were other reasons I was enrolled in the Junior Doctors Association.
Okay.
I was comrades.
Oh,
I was enrolled in the union. I made people go on strike. The strike of 2019. I drove around the country riling up doctors to go on strike. Ooh, the roads we travel.
Oh yeah.
I was genuine. And then I realized that not everybody who's in unions is genuine, is looking out for the interests of the doctors, because the agreements that was settled was not what we had promised the people. I don't want to talk about that now here. So a month from October, the doctors were supposed to receive the new salary increase that I did not agree with, because in principle, that is not what we had wanted. We had wanted so much better for the doctors. We wanted them to have their own negotiating chambers, and people were like, that's not possible. I'm like, all policies are written by humans. We can rewrite. If judges can have their own bargaining council, we can have too. You see how much I was into that stuff? And I was studying law. Oh, I had given up law. I stopped studying law because I didn't want to do criminal law, and they would not excuse me from that. So now I'm in this battle for how can I heal the people, forget the legalities and stuff. But I had that legal background to be able to be involved in unions. So a month before we're supposed to get this big salary increase, I wrote my resignation letter. But it wasn't like that. It was I don't know. I think in retrospect, it was something else. I hated my job by now. I would be late going to work. I was rude to my patients. I would come in and say, right, listen. I would stand at the those doctors. This is why public sector hospitals are rude. Understand this. Because that was not how I was raised. I would stand there and I'll be like, right, I don't want to hear your story. I'm going to ask you questions. Just answer my questions, because I didn't want to get to know these women because, their issues. I'm working in gynae. Sometimes women come in with complications of miscarriages, or they've had terminations outside, and I need to take them to theater and clean them up so that they don't get infected and die. And I remember one time I had 11 women that needed this done, and I only had 5 packs to do in theater. So I had to choose who goes and who doesn't. Now, if I've gotten to know you and you're friends with me, friendly with me, and I'm not taking you, then I feel guilty. So then if I'm rude, I can just do my work, what I need to do. I don't have to be dealing with your emotions. You can manage yourself. So I didn't like who I was becoming. I don't like to be late, and I was getting late for work. I would arrive at work like an hour, 2 hours late, because I didn't want to be there. And this is not a story I've ever officially told. But it's necessary, because the whole point of testimonies is to make people realize that when you see me and I seem to have it all together, there are things that also happen in my own mind and how I dealt with them. So it's Sunday night and I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking, I want to go to work tomorrow, but I can't fake a sick note and I can't say I've got a flu for another 2 days. Like I've been telling this story the rest of the year. And this is really bad, that you want to earn the salary, but you don't want to do the work, right? That is losing your integrity. And that can make you into a new person. And I'm not liking this person. And I could justify it about why I'm becoming this person. And I'm thinking, but I don't want to go to work. So I need to get sick or get into an accident. So getting sick, how am I going to get sick? I must find somebody with meningitis. No. What if the meningitis is serious and I die? I don't want to die. All right, let's leave that one. Oh, but the road to Hammanskraal, there are a lot of buses on that road, right? So if I get hit by a bus and I break my ankle, then I can get 6 weeks off work and I'm still paid. This is me sitting on my bed at 8 in the evening on a Sunday night, and I'm planning how I can get 6 weeks off work while being paid. So I'm like, okay, that is the best idea I have. So now, must I be hit by a bus coming from this direction or that direction? I'm like, no, if it's this direction, I'm on the driver's side. I could die. So it must be from this, but it must make sure that I break my ankle. And in the midst of this craziness, right, there's a still small voice that says, why don't you resign? And then I thought, yeah, I could resign. I could quit. I can stop doing this, right? And then I never have to plan, and I don't want my Yaris to be dented. Forget my foot. I'm thinking I don't want my Yaris to get a dent. This was madness. So I wrote my letter of resignation and I had the most peaceful sleep. And for the first time in many months, I was on time getting to work. The morning I started at HR. I was there at 7:30. They're like, Mohambi, why are you? Because we call each other by surname.
Yes, surname, yes.
Yeah. Why are you here? And I'm like, I'm resigning. And they're like, you've got another job? I'm like, nope, but I don't have to be here. They're like, next month you guys are getting a salary increase. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to do this thing anymore. So September 2019 was my last month in the public sector. And I remember I didn't tell my parents and I was still living at home. And on the 3rd of October, I think it was a Sunday, I'm thinking, okay, tomorrow they're going to expect me to go to work. So I kind of need to tell them. And I told them, if you've heard anything about my story, my dad is the calm one. My mom is the one who says, I will, what? Have you been bewitched? Do you remember the journey? How? So my mom is looking at me like, you're nuts. My dad said, you've got responsibility. I said, yes. And he says, well, it's the one who's in the pan who feels the heat. So if that's the decision you have made, that's that. And my mom wanted to speak. My dad said, it's done. She's done it. It's done. She's just telling us, leave her be. Once again, very appreciative of that from him. So Yeah, then I spent the next 3 months. I would wake up in the morning, get in my Yaris, go to the park in Pretoria, and sleep because I felt so tired. I was emotionally drained from all of those things. But I was happy. I was happy, and so that was the second time that I quit medicine. Remember, the first time was post ComServe, and then this was the second time I quit medicine.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to my testimony. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Interesting, I tell you.
yeah. So that was my
And
journey so far.
and then where is God in all this? What's happening?
No, me and God, he's over there. I'm living my life. I've told my mom, me going to church. No, this God, he's not nice. He's comfortable. He's left us here. So I'm just gonna live my life. Right. So I don't go to church. I don't give him any praises. I'm not a Christian. Like if something happens and we need to go to church, but I'm thinking God is not nice. But I'm thinking no, he's abandoned us.
Like
So
with the hurt that you've seen with this, because you've seen sick people, you've seen people dying,
babies dying.
you've seen babies dying, mothers dying, and it's really changed your outlook.
Yeah.
And it's shaken a bit of your relationship with God. And what's if you had the power, you were going to do something.
Yeah. I've been told I have a Jesus complex.
Okay.
Yeah, even then, I was told by lots of organizations that I would go to because I studied business after that. And I remember at this one business place where they were looking and they were like, "You're not paying yourself." I said, "No, I'm trying to grow this thing and give back." They're like, "You would do better not in the township," but I'm like, "No, but township women need the services that I'm offering." We haven't gotten to that part yet. When I went into private practice, and then one lady said, "You've got a Jesus complex," and I cried in that moment. And she's like, "I'm sorry to have offended you." I'm like, well, other than that, it's because I wish I was Jesus, because then I wouldn't have to do any of this. I could just lay hands on the people and they would be healed, because there's so much misery in the world. And I felt that it's going to sound weird, né? But one of the qualms I had with God was, you have blessed me so much, but the rest of the other people have not been blessed. Like, you see me through, right? I need finances, you provided. I've had a good life, but here's like a whole host of people, and I don't have the power to do anything for them. It makes me feel guilty. It's like I could cope without having. These people are not coping. Why are you not doing something for them? You understand? So yeah, so for those 3 months, I just did nothing. I went into business. I bought a mobile freezer and sold ice. I would buy a packet for 3 rands and sell it at 12 rand. It was good business lessons. I'd never thought I would go into business, but I wanted nothing to do with medicine. But obviously that amount of money is like buying rands for 3 rands and then for 12 rands, that's like on the weekends at parties. It wasn't enough. So I did some locum work. So locum work is where you go to another doctor's practice. Yeah. And then when I was at this doctor's practice, I find that I'm enjoying myself, right? I'm not a firefighter. So what I mean by that is, in the hospital, it felt like I was constantly rushing to emergency. And then maybe I save a life, but soon enough, a week, a month, a year later, they're dead, because it's like I'm removing them from the clip and putting them here, and they're still going to their death because I don't know what's making them sick, right? And the drugs can maybe slow the process down, but it's not really. In some, it fast tracks the process. So now I'm in this private practice. I can sit one-on-one. There's enough time to consult with the patient and to treat them holistically, right? And I'm finding, oh, this is nice medicine. I never thought I would be here, because I thought private doctors were just about greed, right? They were just about filling their patients
and money.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is different. So I enjoyed that, and I was doing doctors on call. So I would go out into the Joburg space at night, and over the weekends, I would get calls to see people in their hotels. Life was still safe then. Clearly, I'm old. And so in private practice, I'm realizing there's different kind of medicine. You're not restricted by the state. The resources are unlimitless. One of the things that I had a problem with was when I was an intern, I saw a 21-year-old girl who wanted a pap smear, but she was 21. Policy says you can have a pap smear at the age of 30. So I sent it away. I said, go away. Come back when you're 30. And remember, I left for a year and then I came back to the same hospital. So she comes back. Now she's 23 and she's referred from the clinic with cervical cancer. And I'm like, but I see my notes. I saw you 2 years ago. You wanted a pap smear and I turned you away because you were young. Now you've got cervical cancer. I was like, why did you want to have a pap smear? Then she explained her symptoms and I was like, I followed policy instead of looking at what my patient had. I was an intern. And now this 23-year-old was dying from cervical cancer because, you know, she had been HIV positive since the age of 15 because of early sexual encounter. And those are all the risk factors. So I had tried, even in the public hospitals, I had asked, can I, when obstetrics and gynae, working with the women, was no longer fulfilling, I had said, can I run a preventative healthcare clinic? I didn't even know what that looks like. I was saying, let me not be a firefighter anymore. So they had said, no, we can't spare you. There's 4 doctors in your department and you actually need 8 doctors. If you go, there's going to be 3 doctors and then it's a disaster. And I understood that, but I was like, but the people are still dying. We're not doing enough. We need to catch them earlier. And they said, no, that can't be done. And she meant well. I saw that she liked the idea, but policy is policy. So now I'm in the private space and I can write my own policies. If a 21-year-old comes and they want a pap smear and I think there's good reason for it, I can do that. So these are the lessons that you learn as you practice medicine. That's why we call it a practice. We're forever, hopefully, improving ourselves.
Oh, wow.
And then I realized that women form 80% of the consulting population where I was. Children form 15%. Remember, I want nothing to do with kids. Nobody under the age of 12, actually, preferably. And then men form less than 5% of the consulting population. So I thought, okay, I'm going to open a women's wellness center. So in March of 2010, before then, actually, how it happened is I met this woman when I was doing Doctors on Call, this white woman. She was at a hotel on holiday with her husband and he got the flu. I was the doctor who was called out and she's like, have dinner with me. Like, how did you get into this? And I told her that whole story that I've just told you now. I tell her all of that. And she says, why don't you open your own practice? I had never crossed my mind because I always thought private practice was for making money. She's like, why don't you do that in your own private practice? You can do just what you want. And that was in December, January. So by March, I had found a place. I opened a Adair Women Wellness Center. Adair's African dream to acquire real empowerment. I really wanted to empower my women.
Oh, wow.
And I made it very pretty. It had pink wallpaper. It had beautiful, you know, it was beautiful. That's why they said I should move it into the suburbs. You know, I said, no, township women deserve to have beautiful things, a beautiful doctor's office. They were like, yeah, you could buy yourself a better car than a Yaris. I'm like, I don't need a better car. I don't need my patient thinking that there's a class separation between me and them. Already when they saw that I was from UCT, they thought, oh, I can't speak the local language, you know. So that was great. So from 2010 up until 2015, I ran this women's wellness center. I had to go to business school to try and learn some business principles. That's where I was accused of being at one business school of having a Jesus complex. So I quit them. I went to the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship. I like their motto, do good and the money will come. So I really like that. And at that time, God being good, because, God will take you where you are. Ne? Because I used to love football, I got to be team doctor to Banyana Banyana. So that money from working with Banyana Banyana was actually funding my private practice because I wasn't making enough. I wasn't making money. Why? Because I actually started to make people better. I had a policy that I should not see you 3 times with the same condition. I will try and get to the root cause of it. And so I started making people better. So people who used to, and it was holistic. It'd be like, why are you not getting better? Are you stressed? Then I send you to the psychologist. Why? Now, remember, this is funny. I have issues with God, right? But when I see somebody having stress issues, so I would refer them to their church.
Oh, wow.
Issues of forgiveness. I'd be like, doesn't your Bible, you're a Christian, doesn't your Bible say you must forgive? I'm struggling with it. Okay, go speak to your pastor. because I know the Bible talks about forgiveness as a remedy, that you can't be this container.
Oh, wow.
And then a lot of my patients would ask me, "Are you a Christian?" I'd be like, "Let's not talk about that one. I'm not the one sitting on the other side." So yeah, so I ran that center for a good 5 years, and
So you were not making money out of it?
no, I was running a preventative healthcare center. So literally I would tell women, come in when you're healthy and let's try and keep you healthy. So I
Okay.
would identify conditions and I would try and give as few medication as possible, and I would try to get to the root cause. So I would be like, go eat healthy, but I don't know what that means. And I'd be like, go exercise, but I don't know what that means. So I'm still prescribing the medication, but now they're not getting as sick. I remember I had this one patient, Paul. She used to come once every week. She was HIV positive with a CD4 count of 80 something. So she was really sick. So once a week she was sick. Yeah. And then I was like, no, but why aren't you getting better? And it turned out she was angry that her husband had infected her, but her husband was dead. So I'm like, well, you're angry with a dead man. You need to forgive him. And she didn't know how. But I knew she was a Christian because my forms would list it. So I sent it to a psychologist. I wasn't seeing much change. So I said, I need you to go speak to your pastor about and pray to God, about this forgiveness issue. Once she did that, it was a complete turnaround. Her CD4 count, but let's just say by the time I was done with her, she was consulting twice a year. Now do the maths. From consulting 52 times in a year, she's consulting twice a year. And her CD4 count went all the way up to 1,000 and her viral load was undetectable. So then that's when they told me, don't you know that medicine is about seeing repeat customers? And I'm like, but these people are not customers. These are patients. So I love the Branson Center. They said, you need to see how you can take preventative healthcare and monetize it. So I was happy with the results for the patients, but I wasn't happy with how my pocket was looking. I was using my money from Banyana to fund this practice, but it was important to me. For the first time, I was feeling like a real doctor. You look confused.
You are scaring me. You are scaring me.
I think I scare my parents, Shim.
So basically you're saying, okay, this is muddy water. I mean, you're saying you're saying that doctors are running a business. They're not, what are you saying?
I don't think they are conscious of the fact, because we are trained to believe that conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes and obesity and all of these conditions are chronic conditions. That's what we say, right? I remember a rep came to me and said, give me a list of your chronic patients. And I said, what do you mean? What do you want to do? Sign them up? I said, no, I try to make sure that I don't end up with people with chronic diseases. And she says, that's not possible. And I said, I believe there's a way. I don't know how, but I try to make sure that my patients are not chronic patients. So I don't think doctors are conscious. We're trained to believe that sickness is the norm. Remember, I'm an idealist. I'm a child who grew up in the church, believing that God was good. In the Lutheran church, when you enter, the pulpit is written Modimo Olorato, meaning God is love.
Okay.
So I grew up with this mentality, and a God who is loving would not create a world where there's sickness. So I've got this ideal that we should not have these diseases. Maybe God has abandoned his duty, but I'm gonna find a way to make sure that this is not happening. And I'm not happy because I'm prescribing medication I would not take. The last time I took a pill was in 2012. I had a headache on a Monday morning because I had one too many drinks. Remember, I was living my life. So I had a whole bottle of wine the night before, and I had a major headache. And so I took 2 Panados. It's just Panado, right? And then I remember looking at the insert and seeing how it works, and that, it needs to work with cytochrome P450 in the liver. Forget that. And I'm thinking, but doesn't alcohol use the same process? What are the consequences of that? And I realized I could literally get liver failure from drinking alcohol and taking a Panado. I remember thinking, these things are dangerous. That was the last time I took medication. From then on, if I had a headache from drinking too much, I would have orange juice and I would drink water and I would be fine, right? So now I'm starting to think, oh, maybe we don't need all these pills, but I'm prescribing them because a patient comes and I'm going to tell them to go home and drink water and orange juice for a headache. But sometimes I did, but it was murky. So, but I was so occupied with football. And this is what also, it wasn't just football. So I got to be a doctor to athletes preparing for the Olympics. I
Okay.
worked at the High Performance Center.
So which was actually much better because now
They're healthy.
they're healthy.
They have a goal.
I mean, these ones are healthy and they want to be healthy and they want to stay healthy.
Yes. But I learned a lot from them. I realized what they eat, their nutrition is particular, right? So I had to start looking at nutrition and see, okay, what are they supposed to eat? I'm like, okay, so if the athletes for their games, they need to be this particular, we for the game of life, we must be particular. So I need to learn more about nutrition. They're exercising, right? They're very particular about drinking their water. They're particular about their sleep. So I'm starting to see these principles that athletes use and I'm implementing them into my women's practice. Remember, I'm running both things at the same time. I'm like, okay, but I'm not sure because some athletes are eating this and they're not eating that. Some athletes are doing this kind of exercise, they're drinking this water, but now I'm starting to bring these principles. I start implementing them into my life because now I'm team Dr. Tubanyana Banyana and I weigh 99 kilograms.
Okay.
I'm very big. I saw myself on TV and I was like, oh my gosh, look at me roll onto that football field. So one of the first things I just look like this big whale. Just, oh goodness, it was a sad sight. So one of the first things I do is I ask coach, when they train, can I train with them? He's like, yeah, sure. We had a nice coach, Coach Mkwanza. Awesome man. And I stopped drinking the sodas, right? The fizzy drinks and the energy drinks. I don't need that much energy. I replace them with water. Literally, I go from 99 kilograms to 90 kilograms just by doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I'm happy. I'm feeling great in my body. I'm like, oh, maybe I could be a Banyana player, but I'm terrible. I knew that from varsity. Those who can't play football become team doctors to the footballers. So I'm taking these principles of sports medicine and I'm implementing them into my life, into the patient's life. And everybody's saying I should become a sports physician, but I'm thinking that serves less than 1% of the population. I want to serve people who are living life, not who are taking this to games. No offense. I mean, that's their dream. I love my girls, but I wanted to do this for everyday people.
Okay. So you felt at this stage now that you are with these guys. I mean, like, okay, they are with Banyana. You felt that they were doing something.
Yeah, there's a way that they're living that benefits their health.
Or they are very strict in what they do.
In what they eat.
Okay.
In how they exercise.
Okay.
In drinking the water. They knew if I saw you were online on my phone, or your light was on after 9, you're going home or I'm taking your phone. So they knew 9 p.m. we go to sleep. There's no funny business that's happening.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, if we can.
And those things were like doing something for them.
Yes, absolutely. So my job was to make sure that a player does not miss a game because they were sick. So they are preventative health, which is what I had always wanted to do.
Wow.
And then I'm starting to see, there are principles. We're not doing this in the world. We're eating anyhow. You're eating from these, takeaway shops. The girls don't eat that. They have a very specific pre-match meal that they eat.
Wow.
So I was like, no, but if real life people, not saying athletes are not real life people,
yes.
but everyday people can apply these principles, then it can be better, So, but in 2015, I was tired now, Paul. I felt I had, on my own, I had done the best I can. I had taught these women in my practice the best, and I felt I had nothing else. Like, you can come for your screening. Like, I remember there was one woman who came for a pap smear. She was 40 as a gift to herself. Remember, I invite women, come in for your birthday, let's check you. And we had found that she had precancerous lesions. Oh, initially she was angry. She was like, now for 40, I'm thinking I'm going to have cancer. And for 2 weeks, she was gone. She comes back after 2 weeks. She says, I've thought about it. If you had not picked up that I'm almost having cancer, I would have died by the age of 50 from cancer. And I referred her to a specialist and they dealt with that. And I felt that I had done good, but I'm like, but I don't know how to stop people from even getting to that point. And I felt very discouraged. And at that point, I'm still running my practice and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to give up this whole medicine thing for the third and final time. I had a piece of land in Hebron where I grew up, where I wanted to do country living. I thought I'm going to build a home there, plant my veggies, and live there and make shoes. I was going to stop being a doctor. I was disillusioned about university. I'm like, I don't know. I paid all that money. I struggled. I owed fees to learn medicine that does not really cure people. Me and God were like, he's over there with his eternal life, and I'm over here. I tried to save the world, and I couldn't do it because I'm limited. So I'm very angry with God. I'd actually read a lot of Paulo Coelho books. I was trying to go into magic, but my Christian background always said, but some of these things sound very not good, you know? So it was always there, like you want to be a white witch. It doesn't matter, white, but witch. Hey, ke boloi, whether ke bo bosweu or ke bo bontsho, black or white. No, you don't.
So you try to read.
So I was trying to find alternatives, like a worthy way of like something, because if God has abandoned us, maybe somebody else on the other side cares, you know? But they don't sit very well with me, all of these other things. And I was starting to look into herbs, and I remember saying to my mom, "Oh, I saw that there's a herbalist. They're not really a sangoma, just a herbalist." And she was looking at me like, "Yeah, now for sure you have been utterly bewitched. I sent you to medical school. Now you want to go see a herbalist." You know, I remember, and I thought, okay, maybe that's not a good idea. And so, but at this time, I have an opportunity.
Why were you feeling like you need to go see a herbalist now?
I thought if the drugs were dangerous, maybe the herbs would do something better.
Oh,
Yes, because
so
I had taken cayenne pepper because, and it was actually my mom who introduced this to me. Ma, it was you. I had ulcers, and I said, look, can you bring me some Nexium, which is something for. She's like, I'm gonna be gone a long time. I said, I need it now. The pains are killing me. And she said, no, drink cayenne pepper in water. And I was like, pepper in ulcers. I'm the doctor. You're gonna kill me. She says, okay, don't do it, and then see what you do. She hung up on me. So I was like, I couldn't stand the pain. So I went and I got some cayenne pepper and I drank it, and it felt like I was dying. It was burning. So I lay down on the cold floor, and within 3 seconds, that burning sensation was gone and the pain was gone. I'm like, and I'm poking myself. And I'm like, cayenne pepper, that fast? No. Then 4 to 5, 6 hours later, it came back. I called. I'm like, how far are you? She says, did it work the first time? Yes. Then drink it again. Why? Because you doctors always say drink every 4 to 6 hours. So drink it again. And I drank it again. You know, when she came with the medication, I didn't need to take it because I was fine. So that's why I wanted to see a herbalist. But then she discouraged me. So I thought, whatever. Then that was the year.
What a life!
Look, it's been a journey. I'm telling you, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, you've been through things that.
But you know, even through it all, even when God was over there, I remember once I was getting myself into some serious trouble. I was quite troublesome, yeah. And there was something that I was about to do that I knew was bad and that could potentially ruin my life, but I felt I didn't have the power to overcome it. And I remember I was like, I don't know how to get myself out of this. And I started crying. And literally, as I was crying, I crumpled onto the floor and I found myself on my knees. And I prayed to a God I was angry with. I said, Lord, you know me. You can read my heart. You can read my mind. You see that what I'm about to do is bad. I know it's bad, but I feel very powerless to change the course of my life. I am begging you, please help me. I think I was in that state for like 3 hours and I passed out. And the next thing I hear, a knock at the door. My fellow co-conspirators who I was going to do trouble with had come to pick me up. And when I got up, I realized that I was very calm. And so I go and I open the door and they're like, are we going? And I said, no, I don't want to do it. And the look on their faces. And I was like, And then I just shut the door. And I was delivered from that issue. But up to today, it's never been an issue in my life. That was in 2013. I remember I was in Russia.
Or you were in Russia doing the Banyana things?
No, I was there, for the university sports. So it was still
Okay.
soccer, but it wasn't specifically Banyana.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't thank God for that after that. But you see how he came through for me.
Mhm.
So I still knew there was a God, but I was still angry with how he was leaving everybody out. So 2015, I was going to the US on a Mandela Washington program. I was elected. It's they take the most influential 500 young people in Africa to help them with whatever they're working on, their project. So I went there and I said to a God I was angry with, when I come back, I haven't found a better way to practice this medicine. I'm gonna close this practice. I'm just gonna do sport. There'll be enough money for me to live on my little land and grow my veggies and whatever, and just stop trying to save people because I can't. And I went to the US and I meet these two young men from Zambia. We're sitting across from each other eating lunch, and my food comes and I start eating. And then the other one, they start to pray, and then the other one says to me, Kenny says to me, "Aren't you going to pray?" And I said, "What for? God has nothing to do with what's happening to me here." Huh? And then he turns and speaks to Jacob, this other one, in their language. I don't know what he said to him. And I said, "Why is he telling you that I'm not praying? Are you some kind of church boy?" And he smiles. You have to see Jacob smile to understand it. He smiles, this bright smile that reaches his eyes. And I said, "Church boy." I called him church boy from then on. "Church boy, we're going to be on this program for 6 weeks together, yeah? If you and me are going to get together and you don't want to annoy me," I was very rude. "If we're going to get along and you don't want to annoy me, don't talk to me about God, yeah? Don't." And I ate my food. And he just smiled. And so we get to where we're going to do this program, and he's always just following me around, smiling, ever happy. And I'm thinking, Swan. And so I was a party girl, yeah. I was the girl who organized the drinks. I was the one who went to go to the bartender and say, "Come on, you gotta treat us nice, yeah, keep them flowing." So I'm organizing. I find the restaurant that has enough space for all of us. They've got what we like. And I remember the first night in Vermont, we go and we sit down and we're all having drinks. Lots of the guys were there. The married women were not there. Funny enough, there are certain principles. Yeah, I'm like, these women are married. I don't want to get them into trouble, so I don't invite them, because the sanctity of marriage is exactly that. You see, the Christian background never departs from you. And Jacob walks in and I'm like, hey, come sit next to me. Let me order you some drinks. Like, no. And he orders takeaway. I'm like, dude, you look like you're gonna ruin our 6 weeks. I'm on this program, but I'm about to have fun. Because remember, when I get back, I'm quitting this whole thing, right? So this is, for me, it's a free ticket to America. And he orders his stuff and he leaves. And I'm like, this one, he's going to steal our joy. I don't like him. But the following day in class, he comes and sits next to me and he talks to me. He's like, "You're into health." And I tell him, "Yeah, but pills are terrible things." And he's like, "Huh, that's interesting. What else?" I'm like, "Don't send your kids to school, yeah? If you ever have kids." At that time, I don't want to have kids. I'm like, "If you ever want to have kids, you must homeschool them." He's like, "Really? That's interesting. What else?" I'm like, "Yeah, and quit this life and go find a country home and live there and raise your own food." And he looks at me and says, "You, God loves you." And I'm like, we agreed. You will not talk to me about God. Said, I'm sorry. So we start talking health, right? He starts asking me, why do you eat so much meat? I'm like, hey, I'm on a Banting diet here. High fat, medium protein, low carb diet. I was on the Banting diet, and that was promoted by Prof. Tim Noakes. Remember, he's in the sports field, so that's where I learned about it. I'd even gone to a conference on it. I was understanding it better, but I was afraid to implement it in my patients' lives because of the constipation that comes with it and the high cholesterol. And I was very afraid of cholesterol because these are the things that leads to heart attacks. So I was like, let me try it on myself first. So I lost weight. So I'm happy with the results, but I'm not happy with these two things that are happening to me. And now Jacob is questioning why I eat so much meat. And I see that he doesn't, I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat like you. So we talk health, and he really gets engaged in the project that I'm there working on, and I'm enjoying conversations with him, and he's not talking to me about God, and I appreciated that. If there's anything I appreciate, is somebody respecting when I ask them to do something, and he is kind, and he's nice to everyone. I'm like, some of these fellows don't like you. They talk badly about you behind your back. He just smiles and he's still kind to them. And I find it annoying, but I find it very interesting as well. And he goes to church on the wrong day. Like every Saturday, he disappears. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why are you going to church on the wrong day? And he just smiles. Right. And I remember one day I said to him, you know what? You're the closest to a Christian I've ever seen. Because remember, I know what the Bible says about what Christians are supposed to be like. He's not a hypocrite. He's kind. He's patient. He's just got that. You're a Christian. You don't need to tell me. I can see by how you live your life.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
And he's respectful to what it is I've chosen. Don't talk to me about God. Then one day, I don't know. Oh, we went to the dining hall, and all the food, all the meat they had cooked was just bad. Right. And I'm like, goodness, there's nothing for me to eat. He says, I would say you should eat like me, but I don't think you'd be able to do it. Now, if there's any time you want to do something, tell me I can't do something and let me prove it. I'm like, you say what? You think I can't eat like you for 10 days? Here's my plate. You dish up for me for the next 10 days. And he did. So here I am on a whole foods plant-based diet for 10 days. And Vermont is the perfect place for that because they grow their food organically. I mean, I saw carrots of different colors, spinach of different colors. I was like, wow, we would go to the market. So I start eating like him. And I start feeling like I'm sleeping better. My mind is clearer. Remember, this program the program is competitive, right? One of us gets to present at the Obama when we get to DC, Washington, DC, and I want that position. So I'm thinking I've got an extra advantage here other than Jacob. Everybody else is eating all this bad stuff. I've got clearer mind. So I'm like, how does this even work? Right? So for 10 days, I eat that way. And then after that, I think and then the other thing that then I went to this dinner. I was invited and I drank wine, and he wanted to know what the dinner was about. So when I come back around 10, normally he would kick me out and say, look, we can't continue talking. By 10, I need to be sleeping. I'm like, goodness, that's when life begins and when you want to be sleeping.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I've moved. I'm no longer calling everybody for those. I'm spending my time with Jacob because I'm thinking this person is fascinating. So I go to him. I'm like, let me tell you about the dinner. And he's about to open the door. And he's like, you've been drinking. I'm like, I had a glass, maybe 2, maybe 3. Who was counting? And he's like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, dude, do you want to hear this hot off the press? This was a very interesting dinner. He says, no, you've been drinking. The things I talk to you have eternal consequences and they're eternal reality. I will talk to you when you're sober in the morning. I was mad, Paul. I was like, self-righteous, whatever. So I go looking for the other guys, right? And they're like, what? Jacob didn't want to talk to you? And I'm thinking, you're all such a bore anyway. And I go to my room and I pour myself a glass of wine. And then I hold it and I'm looking at it because he had asked me a question before I left. He said, if they called you for an operation and you had a glass of wine, would you go? And I remember before I came on the program, that exactly happened to me. They called me to assist. I was working in theater. We were delivering babies via cesarean section. And the doctor I was working with called me and said, look, I've got an emergency. We need to do a Caesar because he knew I was 5 minutes away. Can you come? And I said, I just finished a bottle of cider. I don't feel comfortable. And now this is exactly what Jacob is asking me. If when it comes to matters of life here on earth, I am cautious in what I engage in. What about matters of eternal reality, right? And I took that glass of wine, Paul, and crying tears like something terrible had happened. I poured it down the drain, and I knew I would never drink again. And I'm feeling sad. And at that moment, somebody comes knocking on my door, and it's this other girl. And I don't know what she was asking for. I think a nail clipper or something. And I said to her, would you like some wine? She's like, yeah, sure. She was French. So I had 3 bottles of wine that I'd bought when I got there and a big glass of wine. And and a wine opener, and I gave her the 2 because I'd finished the one, poured it down. I gave her the other 2, and that was the last time I ever drank wine in my life. And I went to bed just crying for myself. In the morning, guess who's at my door smiling? Jacob, tell me about yesterday. I'm like, you're so annoying. He just ignores me. So I changed my diet. I stopped drinking. I used to wear earrings. I loved accessories. I used to have these beautiful pearl earrings. And every now and again, he'd be like, is it a fashion to wear one earring? And I'm like, what are you talking about? My jewelry started falling off. My bracelets, it's like things. I just lost things. So I stopped wearing earrings, accessories, because they were falling off the entire time. And every now and again, he would tell me that that God loves me. And it wasn't getting so annoying anymore. Now I haven't been drinking. I've been on a plant-based diet. And I think I had mental clarity, because then one evening, as he was about to chase me out, I think it was about 9:30, because he must go to sleep at this particular time, which doesn't make sense to me. Then I say to him, Jacob, why do you love God so much? Tell me about this God that you worship, because he seems to be benefiting you more than I saw what was happening in my life and my reality. And he starts talking to me about God. It's almost like he's been waiting for this. And he talks for 3 hours, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12, for 3.5 hours straight, telling me about God. And I'm listening. I don't remember all the details. I just know the last thing he said was, in summary, so before he says this one, he says to me, so there's a great controversy. There's a battle between good and evil. And each one of us get to choose whose side we're on and how we can help in this world. So God will not force us in anything. He's given us free will. So it's up to you. So there's evil in the world. There's because of sin. So when you commit sin, it affects other people. And that's why bad things happen to good people, because we commit sin. And sometimes we commit sin without realizing. And those are the consequences of our actions. So things happen. So it is not God. He's given us free will. So the concluding line was, God is love. And I believed him. I said, thank you. I went to bed and I slept like never slept before. And I woke up the following day, and I'm telling you, I was a different person. I woke up and I thought, well, if evil is what's causing the bad that I have seen in the world, then God, I'm going to be a force for good for you, not by myself, because I have failed. I'm going to be a force for good. So I started asking him, tell me about these principles of health. So he told me about New Start, nutrition, exercise. Now I'm starting to, these were the things in football that I was picking up. He tells
It
me.
begins to click now.
Yes, it clicks now.
It's almost like God was preparing you for that. Okay,
Exactly.
wow.
So that's why I'm like, don't judge where people are, because people will be thinking you should never have gone into sports. But in sports, I realized that these principles work. Right.
And you had not learned this at school?
No, I don't even, we don't even learn nutrition at school. We learn that people must eat healthy, then you must send them to the dietitian. But nobody I ever sent to the dietitian was ever cured from diabetes, So,
okay.
Yeah. So I learned about the principle of New Start, nutrition, exercise, sunlight, temperance. I think I skipped water. W is for water, fresh air, rest, and trust in God, right? And so we're implementing them. He's excited. We're implementing them in our life, and I'm incorporating them into the program that I'm doing, right? Because we need to do a presentation at the end of the 6 weeks, and he's working with me, part of my group, and another person. I don't remember who it was. And then I say to him on a Friday evening, oh yeah, tomorrow you're going to church on the wrong day. Can I come with you? And immediately says yes. Later on, he told me that he had been praying for me throughout this whole thing. And he had made a promise to God that I will not ask her to come with me to church. I will wait for her to ask.
Wow.
So I asked on this Friday evening, and he says yes. And I get dressed on Saturday morning and I'm going to church on a Saturday. And I get there, and guess what? It's health day.
So you're in America here?
I'm in America. I'm in what's that state? Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at Dartmouth College. And we get to church and it's health day. And so there's Sabbath school. I still don't know these things properly. There's Sabbath school, and they're talking about Naaman and him dipping in water and saying that's hydrotherapy. And I'm like, that's interesting. Never heard that word. All right. And then he preached a sermon and he was talking about the mark of the beast and the Pope and other things that went over my head. I had no idea what he was saying. I think I even fell asleep. Then lunchtime comes and there's this spread of food and it's all plant-based. And it was delicious. So they had brought these missionaries from Wildwood or Oakwood. I don't remember where they had come from. One of the Adventist institutes, because this was at an Adventist church, Seventh-day Adventist. And I had this wonderful lunch, and I'm thinking, this is nice. If this is what a whole foods plant-based diet can be like, and my mind remains clear, I can definitely do that because I love cooking. At the private school I went to, I did home economics right up to metric, so I know the principles of cooking, right? I know the science of cooking. I'm like, I could just take black lentils if I want to make a burger and mix them with some onions, because we used to make burgers from scratch, obviously with meat. So I'm like, I'm just gonna learn how to do all of that. So the food was amazing. That was in itself was evangelism in a pot, I like to call it.
Wow.
So when we do health deform, when we cook the food wrong, we just put people off. Then the afternoon program, and this is the whole day at church, because this is what I wanted to do. What are you guys doing the whole day in church? In the afternoon, they were doing simple remedies. And so they say they're going to show us how to treat a migraine by putting somebody's feet in hot water and wrapping a blanket around them and putting cold cloth on their head. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, you guys are jokers, right? We use serious medicine to treat migraine, and you're gonna do it by putting somebody's feet in hot water. I'm like, this is a joke, but it's fine.
Okay.
I paid attention. I'm looking at them, and I'm like, there must be some Jesus miracle happening here. Because I don't see how this is happening.
And you're a doctor. And
I'm a doctor, right?
And your antennas go.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
What's going on?
Nah, this is not. This is highly unscientific. I can tell you that. And then one of the people there gave me the book Ministry of Healing, and so I left. It was fun. The day went by so fast, and I enjoyed it. It was beautiful. I'm glad I remember the first time I kept the Sabbath. And we go back to where we're staying. And he's like, how was it? I'm like, it was wonderful. I go to my room and I'm reflecting on the day and I'm reading this book, Ministry of Healing. And then somebody comes knocking on my door, and it's one of the fellows. He was from Uganda, long dreadlocks. And he says, Doc, man, I've got this wicked migraine, and Jacob said I must come to you. And I'm thinking, but I've been telling you while you're here that just stop drinking coffee and all of these things, and Coca-Cola. He liked it. That black drink. And I can't write a prescription for you. He says, yeah, but Jacob said I must come to you. And in that moment, I'm realizing he wants me to do what? Put his feet in cold water. No. But then I'm thinking, look, I have nothing to lose, right? Let me go see that. I'm like, listen, I don't promise anything, but let's go. So I take him to his room. I boil the water. I put his feet in hot water. I'm very diligent to do it exactly the way they said. I wrap him with a blanket. I put cold water on. I even go an extra mile. I turn down the lights because I know lights can be a trigger. I play some soft music and I do this for 45 minutes. And I have a witness there. The girl that I'd given the wine to comes and sits down with us. And it's like, this is interesting. I'm like, shh. And after 45 minutes, I put cold water on his feet. I wipe his face because he was sweating. And I switch on the light. Before I could even ask him, he's shaking his dreadlocks. Like, my headache is gone, man. I'm going clubbing. I'm thinking, I wasn't treating you so you can go clubbing. Now I'm like, everything in my head is just like, that's not supposed to happen.
Wow.
Do you know how hard it is to treat a patient's migraines with pills, the best pills there are? So I go to my room and I'm thinking, what just happened there? I'm like, I'm like, I don't believe in miracles. That was in the Bible. I will not go back to South Africa and put people's feet in water and say I'm curing them. No, that's not the medicine I'm practicing. This has to make sense. So I'm like, they said it was hydrotherapy. So I go online, hydrotherapy. Okay, the application of water in its various forms to parts of the body, to bring about, to change the circulation. Yes, the cardiovascular, which is the heart and the blood vessels. Okay, what does hot water do? It dilates the vessels. Okay, so that brings the blood pressure down. What does the cold cloth do? It constricts the blood vessels, reducing blood flow. Migraine is just too much blood going to the brain. We've literally just changed the whole circulation. This is highly scientific, and I did not learn it in medical school, and it has no side effects.
Whoa.
I'm confused, I am happy, I'm ecstatic, I'm reading Ministry of Healing, and I'm saying to him, who's this Dr. Ellen White? And he's saying she's a prophet. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But this stuff.
Oh, man.
So, those 6 weeks there, completely, I came back a different person, as you can imagine. I went there, I was a party girl. I was supposed to go to New York. I even canceled. I was like, New York is a city of sin. I've come to know God. I can't be going to New York. I have to choose the side. I can't do anything that is on the other side. I'm very clear-minded about this thing. And funny enough, at the same time that Jacob is telling me these things, they have paired me up with a mentor who practices new age practices. She's given me like these crystals and these chants to do. And so it's almost like there was this warfare for the direction I was taking. But you know what won me to Jacob's side? Jacob was always fully himself. This lady took me to dinner one day, and I saw that, I know this seems very silly, but I saw that the afro on her head was not her real hair. And I know that seems silly, and so there was a little bit showing, and I was like, but you're going around pretending that you're authentic, but you can't be authentic with your own self. You're wearing a mask. And on that day, it was almost like her mask fell. And it was like, the things you're teaching me have not impacted you. So why would I want to take them on? And Jacob genuinely saw the religion he's presenting to me is the religion that sustains him. So that's why I went with him. And that spiritualism aspect, it was spiritualism. I saw it in retrospect as I continued to learn, that it almost like there was a battle for my soul. And
so you felt the
I wasn't even aware.
Okay.
In the moment, I wasn't aware. There was just Jacob presenting this thing, and there was this woman presenting this thing, and I was just going to merge them. But then when I saw that this is not working even for you, you've got major issues that have not been healed. I have not seen this with Jacob. He is consistently sustained and upheld. And based also, remember now, God has answered my accusation. I said he was not a good God. He's abandoned us. So now I'm realizing the reason there's misery and sickness, particular in the world, is because we are not eating the way we're supposed to eat. We're not living according to the principles that he has given us, because New Start principles are there in the Bible. In Genesis 1 and 2, you see all of them. We'll talk about them some other time. You see all of these principles. So the problem was us. And, for God to come down to my level and address the accusations I had put upon him. I mean, if that's not humbling, I don't know. He's the creator of the world. He didn't have to answer me. He didn't have to reach out like that. He could have left me as a foolish child. But like a father that he is, he said, you don't know. And your question is valid based on what you're seeing. And you don't want to pretend. Let's see, if I present the truth to you, what will you do about it? And I said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to practice medicine this way that I have learned.
So tell me here, no? With this Ellen White, what made you think this lady is a doctor?
Because when I read the principles, it was from her, and they were all scientifically based. So she had to be a doctor. And so when she's saying she's a prophet, I'm like, I don't know what that means. But the things that she has written are medically sound. Because then I got a list of all the books that she had written, Counsels on Health and Diet, and all of Temperance, and all of these other books. And when I looked at the topics and I schemed on them, I was like, this is very scientific. And it's been shown that all he had shown, because right now there's a branch of medicine called lifestyle medicine, where doctors are trained in lifestyle medicine. And the basis for it is Adventist health study. So they looked at Adventists and what it is they were supposed to be living. They've got 6 of these other principles, nutrition and exercise and all of that. So they are using our principles, because I've been an Adventist now since 2015, to help reverse diabetes and high blood pressure and all of these conditions. So the health message, as we call it in Adventism, was really for me a message of love to God. It answered my accusations, and in that I saw a God who did not only want us in eternal life to be happy there, but who did not want us suffering. And my job now was to go and tell people and teach them and help them reverse the misery that was in the world.
How many weeks were you having in America?
6 weeks.
It was 6 weeks. So these 6 weeks were revolutionary.
Oh, they completely, you see, I was turned upside down. Already I had questions about the failure of the medical system,
On
and I
your
had
own.
ascribed it to God.
On your own.
On my own.
So you had ascribed that to God to say
Yeah.
it is God who's doing these things and he's failing
And
people.
he's failing people,
and
making us drug dealers with things that don't work. But then I discovered that was not the case. God had another system, a healing system, that, in the past 10 years since I've been practicing lifestyle medicine, I've seen amazing results, people recovering conditions that we thought we couldn't heal, no matter how complicated. There's a simplicity in God's method, always with the foundation of new start, or I like to use restoration. We'll talk about it some other time, in helping people to heal. And then one of the things, so that was just the health message. So on our way now, I think in week 5, so the last week we were to spend in Washington, D.C., where we were going to be addressed by President Obama. Then he says to me on the bus, because I've been reading Ministry of Healing all along, he says to me, I want to introduce you to someone. I'm like, I don't want to meet anybody else. I'm like, he says, I need to introduce, let me rephrase, I need to introduce you to someone. He says, you see, I'm human and I could fall. I'm like, you're perfect. He says, no, I'm not perfect. I could fall, and I don't want you to then fall from this path that you like so much, because I see that you do. So I don't want you to follow me. So I'm like, so who's this person you're introducing me to? And he took out the book we had downloaded, on my app, on my tablet. He had downloaded for me the Ellen White Estates with all the books. And he said, we're going to read together Desire of Ages, which is the story of Christ. So he wanted to reintroduce me to Christ. Because there was a time when I had a problem with the verse, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. Nobody comes to the Father but through me. And I'm like, well, there are people who worship different beings. So are they not going to the Father? Like, what does it matter if I go via the ancestors or via Christ? So I had a problem with that verse. So he introduces me to Christ. So we read it out loud. I literally read out to him. And Desire of Ages was I didn't think my life could get transformed even more, but reading about Christ in Desire of Ages makes you fall in love with him. And it was perfectly timed, because when we got to the airport and we were waiting to fly to DC, we had a fight, and I don't know about what, because the enemy will try and destabilize. So we have a fight for the first time in the 6 weeks, a serious one. And I remember sitting there thinking, you and your silly God, I don't want anything to do with it. But I'm feeling sad. And he's sitting across, and I refuse to talk to him. Remember him, he doesn't hold grudges. And so, he lives in Zambia. Jacob is from Zambia. Jacob Hamanenga, my greatest friend, the one that God sent to show me the way. He was my private Philip. He has an amazing voice. He leads the choir there at River Saints Church in Zambia. He sings beautifully. So he starts singing, what a friend we have in Jesus, right? And he's singing, and I can hear him. And I'm remembering Desire of Ages, which we're currently reading. And angry as I am at him, I gave him my little book. He had, that other lady had given me a book to write my thoughts. Now, I don't know how to pray. So every day in the morning, I write, Dear God. That's how I communicate with him. I write letters to him. So I give him the book and I say, can you write me lyrics to that song? It doesn't mean I'm not angry with you. But now I see that I'm no longer following him. I can be upset with him and I can still follow Christ, which is what he was saying. And so one of my favorite songs is What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Do thy friends despise and forsake thee, take it to the Lord in prayer. You know, so I realized it didn't matter whether we maintained friendship, Jacob and I, but now I had found a true friend in Christ.
Wow.
But we got to, before we got on the plane, we were fine. There's a way when you connect with Christ, he will bring you together. I think it was necessary. And a week later, we part. He leaves first, and then I come down to South Africa, and everybody's expecting me to throw a party, and I don't, because I don't drink, I don't eat meat. I tell my parents, God is great, but we're Lutheran now. I want to go to church on the wrong day.
So when you go to America, everything changed.
In those 6 weeks, I changed. Everything remained the same around the world, you know. People were still sick and dying. My cousins were still partying it up, but I changed. So for me, the power of the gospel is not in changing your situations, it's in changing you to live in this world according to his ways and his principles. And it was beautiful. I saw life in a different way, but now I was going into a challenge. I was coming home and my cousins were waiting for me to throw a party, and we have some drinks and we talk about my time in America. And there was none of that. Literally, I prayed. I said, Lord, I'm not ready for the environment where I left, because they're expecting a different person. And luckily, there was a trip for 3 weeks with SASCOC to Congo Brazzaville. SASCOC is the South African sports organization.
Okay.
So they take the F. So we went to Congo Brazzaville, and there I had time to finish reading Desire of Ages. And then I came back, and I think I felt more solid now to now live out this thing that I had discovered.
So Desire of Ages helped you to fall in love with Christ.
Yes, Ministry of Healing introduced the health message to me. So that was the two things, the two pillars, if I can say, that reconciled me with God, because it answered the questions of why bad things happen to good people, and why there was so much sickness in them.
So your deep questions that were troubling you as a doctor, now they were answered when you read Ministry of Healing.
And God loves it.
And then that God is still God of the God of love. You got to read that book, Desire of Ages, and then it helped you as well to figure out who Christ is in the literal sense.
Yeah.
And you fell in love with him.
I fell in love with him. I think everybody should read Desire of Ages. You will see Christ very differently. It was just beautiful. It was a beautiful encounter, and I was grateful for that. And then I wanted to be baptized. I felt like I need to be baptized because as a Lutheran, I'd been baptized as a child, but I felt that I want to make this stand. And then I said to Jacob, there are no Adventists in South Africa, because I'd never heard of such a thing. I'm like, I need to come to Zambia and be baptized. Then I went to Zambia. I met the missionaries. They trained me more in health issues. And then he said, no, you need to get baptized in your country. There are Adventists there, but I've never met them. And I realized I'd met them. I just never saw anything different in how they live their lives. And that's why it's important. I said, you don't need to tell people who you are. If you live in a certain way, they will tell you that you're a Christian and you're a Seventh-day Adventist. We don't need to profess it. It should. Actually, my challenge to everybody is don't tell people you're a Seventh-day Adventist. Live the life of a Seventh-day Adventist and let people tell you you are a Seventh-day Adventist in how you eat and how you dress and how let people see it in when you worship and how you worship God and how your life. Let people be the ones to tell you who you are, not what we profess, because we become great professors, isn't it? We say one thing, but our lives is another. So then I came back and then I Googled the church. Right? That I need to get baptized. I Googled the church. I was Koharangwa at my parents' home. And it showed me a church in Mabopane. I don't know why, because there was a church closer by, but I didn't know. And I drove to that church and they said, nobody's here. I'm like, but it's Saturday. Where are they? They went to a camp meeting. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is. But where is it? So they sent me location and I drove to Hammanskraal, funny enough. And I knew Hammanskraal because I'd done my internship at Jubilee Hospital there. And I went to this camp meeting. And they were doing their thing that Adventists do, that you don't understand when you're non-Adventist. And I'm just sitting there in a tent. I'm happy. I'm here on, I'm at church on Saturday. And I'm just thinking, Lord, you'll show me how I get baptized. And then there's a call towards the end, in the evening. We're doing baptisms tomorrow. If anybody wants to be baptized, come up. And I'm thinking, hey, God loves me. So I go up to the front and I say, I want to be baptized. And I'm like, which church do you go to? Church? No, I don't go to any church. I just need to be baptized. I felt that it was a necessity. And now I'm about to cry because they're asking me about this church business. And there was a family that I'd known before. And they were there. They're like, how Muhapi, why are you here? And I'm like, it's a long story. Remember, I went to America and then I found out about this thing. You guys are Adventists. All right. I need to be baptized. And they're saying, what church do I go to? And I don't have a church. So they call their pastor, Pastor Mapumolo. I love that man. Another heaven sent person. He comes and they vouch for me. They say, we know this girl. She doesn't take life lightly. She wasn't a Christian before she went to America. She had issues. Now she wants to be baptized. We don't know the full story, but and Pastor Mapumolo says, baptize her. She'll belong to my church. She will go to baptismal classes afterwards. And they tell me tomorrow I must come for baptism. And the following day, I remember that day was my mom's birthday. And I had thought I would go to church and come back a little bit early. So I missed her birthday and everybody had been there. Remember, it's like since you came back from the States, you're weird. I'd never miss my mom's birthday ever. And, but this thing was important. And now I can't even share with them because they're going to be thinking you were baptized as a child. What's this thing? So I don't even tell them. And then the Sunday, I take my best clothes and I go to church for baptism. And I get there and there's like 40 of us to be baptized. And I'm excited. I can feel it. My heart is just, and they keep moving me to the end of the line because the lady says, your dress is too tight. How can you dress like this for baptism? And I'm thinking, remember, I'm from the world. I'm thinking, this is the best outfit that I have. This is what I wore when I presented at Richard Branson's event. It's the best dress I have. And I'm thinking, I don't have time to go find anything else. I don't have anything better than this. And she says, and you've got braids on your hair. How are you going to get baptized with fake things on your head? And now I'm getting anxious and I'm thinking, I need to be baptized. And Pastor Mapumula comes and says, what's happening here? Why is she not getting into the water? And the lady tries to, she's like, no, just baptize the child. Yeah. And I was so grateful, when they put me in the water and I came out, I felt I have chosen a side publicly, and when I went in there, I think the scripture was, I forget it now, about running the race, do not so be easily, I'll remember it. And then they gave me gifts. They gave me books. It was 3 books, this family that had helped. I don't remember the other 2 books, but the one book was Mark Finley's When the Lord Says Remember. Like, what does God want me to remember? So that's a Sunday, right? The Wednesday, I'm supposed to travel with Banyana because I'm still team doctor to them, under a new coach, an atheist coach. The other coach was Christian. Now this is a new white woman from Oorkant. That was in 2015, if you can remember who it was.
What is Oorkant?
From the other side of the world. A foreign national.
Oh,
so she was
okay.
from Europe, but she
okay.
was atheist.
Okay.
And Wednesday, I'm supposed to go on camp with Banyana. And I read this book When the Lord Says Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. I'm like, yeah, on Sabbath, when I'm not at football, I will go to church, right? But that's not what this book is saying. I'm like, every Saturday, I must go to church. How am I going to be a team doctor to sporting events if on Saturday, the day when the bulk majority of sports are taking place, I'm going to be in church? Oh, I didn't sleep for 3 nights because I needed to finish reading that book. And on Wednesday morning, I finished reading it. And I understand, because now I'm reading it because I want to find an exemption that... but if you're a team doctor to Banyana, you don't need to keep the Sabbath. You can just, I'm looking for that in the book and there's nothing like that. And it says, when you stop doing whatever, your own business on the Sabbath, you must not lie about why you're doing it because it must be a testimony. I'm thinking, you're joking. You cannot be serious. Like, really? So now,
So
and the thing is that Jacob had said,
you got baptized
I got baptized.
before you understood what this Sabbath
Before,
thing.
now this is the part I want to tell you. So
Wow.
when we're in America, Jacob said, this is going to be a very interesting journey. You're going to keep having to make decisions. I'm like, no, we're on God's side. He says, I want you to repeat after me. I'm like, okay. He says, I do not know what tomorrow will bring. I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I've already made my decision. I've already made my decision, and my decision is Christ. And I said, yeah, that is my decision. He says, just remember that anytime you come to the crossroads. So now I'm not even remembering that. I'm thinking, I need to go on Camp Banyana Banyana. This is my second camp with this coach, and she likes me. Remember, they had disbanded the Banyana Banyana team and brought in a new team, and she was allowed to bring her own people. But she met me in Congo Brazzaville. There she didn't get to choose her own doctor. So she liked me. She was like, oh yeah, the girls know you, they trust you. I like how you work. So, and then we had a camp in Rustenburg. Now I'm supposed to go on camp with her. And the Olympics are coming, and not the Olympics, the World Cup, and I'd never been to. I'm like, no, Lord. So now on the same day, there's a medical missionary camp, and I'd met some missionaries in Zambia. So I call Brother Hobby. I'm like, Hobby, I need to talk to you. He's like, look, I'm on a bus to South Africa. I'm glad you called me. Can you bring me some shoes? I forgot my shoes for preaching. And then meet me at this place. So I'm like, great. I will go and speak to Brother Hobby, get him to pray and make an exemption for me so I can go on camp with Banyana Banyana, and I'm free from this Sabbath issue, right? But he's late coming in. They're calling me at Banyana. I'm like, I'm running late. I just need to wrap up at my practice. Now when I go on camp with Banyana, I don't pack clothes, right? Because we wear the clothes, the Banyana clothes. But I pack my clothes and I take a sleeping bag. And my mom is like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, I need to get rid of these things. So I get into my car and I tell them, as far as they know, I'm going on camp with Banyana. Then I go to this meeting place. I'm waiting for Brother Hobby. He says, wait me there, and their bus is delayed. So I get now at 7 p.m., I get to this camp, not Banyana camp, to the camp for the medical missionaries to drop off his things and to find somebody who can tell me that it is okay to go on camp with Banyana. I've switched off my phone because I don't know what to tell them about my coming late. And I meet Sister Agnes, the sweetest soul I've ever met, right? And I'm rambling on about my promise. She says, ooh, come down. Let's sit in your car. Tell me slowly what's going on. I'm like, I got baptized on Sunday. I've come into this message. And now it says, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. But I'm supposed to go on camp with Banyana and our game is on Saturday. So I need somebody who can tell me how I get exempted from this thing so I can go on camp. And she says, oh, I can't tell you what to do. I'm like, you need to tell me what to do. She says, no, you need to be convicted in your own heart about what to do. So the best I can do is pray with you and for you. So let us pray. And she holds my hand and she starts to pray. And when she says, Amen, I am very clear on the issue. It's very simple. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be keeping the Sabbath watching the girls play football. And it was clear. I knew what I had to do. I just didn't have the guts to do it. So I take a deep breath and I tell her thank you. And she leaves the car. And so I say, okay, I'm not going because I remember I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I have already made my decision, and my decision is Christ. Because now I'm saying literally 3 days after baptism, I'm departing from Christ, right? So I sent, I switched on my phone and I called, I sent a message to Dr. Tulani, who's the Safa medical officer right now. And I say, Tulani, look, now I can't lie as well. Tulani, I've just come into this knowledge about the Sabbath day, so I can't go on camp with Banyana. Can you help me out? He says, look, I'm in Brazil with Bafana. speak to Paul. So I called Dr. Paul and I sent him a message. I don't have the guts. Paul, and he's online via WhatsApp. I'm like, I've just come into this knowledge of truth and I got to keep the Sabbath, but I need to make sure that, the Banyana is covered. And he says, that's fine. I was supposed to do work with Sundowns, but I can easily find somebody for Sundowns because the coach is particular. I'll go join the team. Now I need to tell the coach. She's atheist. You see, these two, they understood. Paul actually encouraged me. He said, this journey of faith is a very personal thing. So you got to do what you got to do. And I was grateful for that. At least I've covered.
Wow.
So I sent the coach a message and immediately then switched off my phone. And they said the things she had to say about me were not nice. Because I had to tell her that it's there in scripture and she's not even a Bible reader or Christian or anything like that. And I stayed at this medical missionary camp and I learned a lot. I met a lot of people from South Africa and I learned a lot of things, and I learned about the great controversy. Because I remember one brother came to me and said, why are you walking around like you're in a love bubble? I'm like, Jesus loves me. And he pushed me against the wall and said, we're in a war, we're in a great controversy. As much as there's Jesus, there's the devil. And he literally just burst my bubble. But maybe it was necessary. So I learned about the health message being the right arm of the gospel, but we're still to preach the gospel. We're supposed to talk about the great controversy. We're supposed to talk about last day events. So I learned all of that on that camp. And I've just been on a journey of getting to know God better ever since. That is the long and the short of my story and my
Wow.
journey.
It's been fascinating.
Yeah, sorry, it was a bit long.
No, it was okay. No, it was, that was, wow.
Yeah.
What a journey.
What a journey. It's been beautiful, though. I have no regrets. One of the things when I was in the world and doing things by myself and trying to be Christ and save everybody was I had great anxiety about when it came to the future. I had anxiety around uncertainty. And one of the first things God did was just remove that, I need to trust in the Lord. Worry not about tomorrow. Sufficient are the problems of tomorrow. And I was grateful for that. I always have a very calm. I don't suffer from anxiety. Anytime I suffer from anxiety, I know that it's because I've taken my eyes off him, because he says he will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed upon him. So I spent time rereading the Bible. I changed how I practice medicine. I teach the principles of health. I wrote a book, Health So Easy, on I'm rewriting it. I have a book I'm supposed to write on principles in medicine, because people assume that all alternative practices is of God, and it's not. And I have a little booklet on your kitchen, your food, your medicine, your kitchen, your pharmacy.
Okay.
Yeah, and how the food in your kitchen should be medicine for you and healing.
Wow.
And that you should have a cabinet where you have simple herbs as remedies for common ailments. During COVID, we were blessed. We didn't lose a single patient, and we treated a lot of COVID patients.
Wow.
Yes,
I
yeah.
do. Yeah.
So it's been a wonderful journey. I feel like a real doctor. And the reason the name The Good Doc, people started calling me The Good Doctor. It wasn't myself, because the question is, why callest thou me good? There's none good but God, right? So The Good Doc is not because I'm good, it's because I work under the great physician, who is really the good doctor.
Wow.
So
you could say, are you able to say that in finding Christ and his methods of healing, you found something?
I found my purpose. I found the love of God shown to humanity at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I found a lot in that. The health message for me is it's very personal.
Okay.
Because it means a lot of people in the hospitals don't need to be there. But then in finding Christ simultaneously, and understanding that he gives us free will, it's that I am not to impose my beliefs on patients. Initially, I thought I'm going to I'm going to save everybody.
Mhm.
And then I realized not everybody who hears this message wants it.
Mhm.
In the same way that not everybody wants the message of salvation,
Mhm.
that we're saved by Christ and through Christ alone.
Mhm.
And God does not force people. So I'm not to force people. I'm to allow them to, I'm just to teach the truth
Mhm.
and allow people to make up their choices in the same way that I made up my choice. And I was appreciative to Jacob, because if he had tried to force God down my throat,
Mhm.
we would not have traveled the journey. But the fact that he didn't have to talk about God, but he talked about his principles. And in talking about his principles, I had to ask him about his God. Then I loved his God because I loved the principles, and that God became my God and my Father. So that's what I found.
Mhm. Any regrets?
Oh no, it has been beautiful.
Wow.
I think I would have made a train wreck of my life without
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
I think I might have died,
Yeah.
and that would have been merciful. If I had not died,
Mm.
I think I don't even want to imagine. I
Wow.
think I would have just made terrible choices.
Okay.
Terrible. So when you walk with God, He guides you and directs you. So my life has been meaningful. It's always been meaningful because I've always sought to seek the truth.
Mm.
But now walking with God, it has been impactful. It hasn't been about me. And it has been calm and peaceful for me, and I appreciate the peace that
Okay.
comes with walking with Him.
Okay.
And then there's also the promise of eternal life.
Mhm.
I look forward to that. I want to meet God. I tell
Okay.
people when I meet Him, because He will save me,
Mhm.
and I will allow Him by His grace. I want to get a big hug from Him. I don't know
Oh,
how
yeah.
He does it when He's just like, but He will know. He knows what I mean. I desire to get to just get a hug in my Father's arms. So I have no regrets. God is wonderful. He is everything He says He is.
Oh, yeah.
He is gracious.
Okay.
He loves us, even in our fallen state. He
In our
loves
fall-
us.
yeah.
He really. You will never experience on earth the love that God has for us, and it
Wow.
must be a personal thing. I have personally experienced it. So where would I go? Where would I go? So no, I have no regrets, none
Oh, wow.
whatsoever.
Wow. Wow. That was interesting. That was interesting. Thank you very much for sharing your testimony.
Thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good. I think I've enjoyed myself to learn about your journey and how God has been to you. To our viewers, this was our good doctor, Dr. Khomotso Mohapi. Please don't forget you can comment if you've got any question, if you've got anything that you want to say, you can leave a comment for us there in the comment section. If you've got anything that you want to say, anything, please feel free to communicate with us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and everyone who needs to see this testimony. It's been a blessing to me, and I hope it's been a blessing to you. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
And I pray it's a blessing to you too.
Yeah, we're going to do another. Yeah.
Yes, I made a
Okay.
promise.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Impact, changing lives. Care to hit the like and subscribe button.